Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. Absolutely. Small Fry Dance Club started about 8 years ago, just as an on-site preschool dance program that my wife, Jana, started on her own. It slowly grew over the few years in numbers, and we added some staff members. And by 2011, we had opened up our own studio in Foster City. We had focused primarily on kids ages 2 through 5, but parents continued to ask us to add more classes and requested older classes. Last year, we had the opportunity to move to a larger center, which gave us the chance to launch Principal Creative and Performing Arts. So now we have two programs, same company. PCPA is for kids 5 all the way up to adults, and Small Fry is for kids 5 and under, and we've expanded that to go as young as 9 months now. For Small Fry, our goals are really to instill a love of dance in the kids by making it both fun and challenging at the same time, working a lot on motor skills that are necessary at the preschool age level, things like awareness, spatial awareness, flexibility, balance, also being really creative. We do teach some dance technique along the way, but we feel it's more important for them to get their motor skills and their creativity down at this point, and exposing them to different styles like ballet, jazz, tap, hip-hop, and musical theater before they get into Principal Creative and Performing Arts. PCPA's goal is a little bit more advanced at this point. Once they hit the age of 5, they can start to decide what styles they like based on what they've done at younger levels. So they can choose to only do ballet or only do tap or jazz or do multiple styles if they wish. But at this point, we really up the intensity a little bit. We're still age appropriate at the younger levels, but we're building strong fundamentals and technique and discipline through dance as well as teamwork. And we expose them to different types of training and performances, so that builds their confidence along the way. Ultimately, we want them to love the art of dance and respect both the art of dance and their teachers, as well as their fellow students, and helping them to reach their goals as they get older. And to answer the last question, I think it's important for the program to be both fun as well as teaching kids to dance the right way. I don't think that kids that aren't having fun in the program would be as focused or want to stay if they weren't having fun. So it's a little bit of both. You want them to enjoy themselves, but you also want them to be disciplined and learn the proper styles and techniques along the way. I'll start with Small Fry. Small Fry offers a few different types of classes, the first being a crawlabout class, which is new. That goes from 9 months to 17 months. A crawlabout class just exposes them to the space. They get to know the teachers a little bit. There is some motor skill development at that age, but it's mostly unstructured open playtime and getting comfortable with our studio. Next would be a music and movement class, which is kind of like what some studios call a mommy and me class or a daddy and me class. That's 18 months to 2 years. And they would dance with a grown-up and still building on motor skills. They'll start to learn some basic dance moves, but still it's age-appropriate. Motor skill development, cognitive, social, and emotional development at that age as well. So we try to focus on that. And then we would move on to dance and performance. We have 2 age levels, 2 to 4 years and 3 to 5 years. Those kids rotate through different styles throughout the year, and they have 2 chances to perform each year in June and December. Small Fry ranges from 9 months up to 5 years. If you have a 3-year-old, that's a perfect time to start. Any age really is. You would probably land in what we call a dance and performance class for 3 to 5-year-olds. They will start learning some basics in dance there and some basic choreography that will give them an opportunity to perform on stage twice a year. Our performances are optional, but you do have that opportunity. So I think that's a great time to start classes and seeing kind of where you land. You also have the option of doing a 2 to 4-year-old class. The biggest difference is that a 2 to 4-year-old class, parents are still allowed in the space with the students if needed. And in a 3 to 5-year-old class, no parents are allowed in the dance space. Parents would watch from the lobby at that point. Small Fry ranges from 9 months up to 5 years. If you have a 3-year-old, that's a perfect time to start. Any age really is. You would probably land in what we call a dance and performance class for 3 to 5-year-olds. They will start learning some basics in dance there and some basic choreography that will give them an opportunity to perform on stage twice a year. Our performances are optional, but you do have that opportunity. So I think that's a great time to start classes and seeing kind of where you land. You also have the option of doing a 2 to 4-year-old class. The biggest difference is that a 2 to 4-year-old class, parents are still allowed in the space with the students if needed. And in a 3 to 5-year-old class, no parents are allowed in the dance space. Parents would watch from the lobby at that point. So our current location is actually in San Mateo. We did start in Foster City, but we moved last November to our larger space. We do offer classes throughout the Bay Area through the Small Fry program, not through Principal Creative and Performing Arts, although we may in the future. The Small Fry programs that are off-site are located at private preschools throughout the Bay Area. So the only way to attend those classes would be if you attended those preschools. So if you wanted to go to the Small Fry Dance Club website, you could see what schools we're at. If you are interested in bringing our program to your preschool, that is also an option. We feel the best way to get in the door, usually parents asking the director to contact us. That way the directors know that there's interest in us being there. We do some cold calling. We'll do some sales calls to preschools in the area. But usually if a parent requests us or a few parents start to request us, then we'll get contacted by the preschool. Speaking to the South Bay and Sunnyvale area specifically, we are at CCLC Cisco, which is in San Jose, CCLC Sunnyvale, Learning Links, which is close, where it's in Mountain View, and those are the three closest to the South Bay we have at the moment. The Crawl About class, by definition, is an unstructured class. So kids are allowed to crawl around or run around and play, but there are some activities they will do. It's age-appropriate development, just like all of the preschool classes are. The goals are, again, to develop cognitive, social, and emotional skills at that level. You may see this help along the way. So if kids that are in the Crawl About classes then take music and movement, they might do better than kids that were not because they get used to the space. They get used to our staff, the props, and all that kind of thing. They get more comfortable with us. We're also looking to develop areas of infant cognitive development, such as imitation, use of tools, object permanence, and the kinds of things that come along at the different age levels. Yes, Principal Creative and Performing Arts does offer adult classes, and this is something we really want to grow really big in the next couple of years. The adult classes right now are mixed with teen level classes, although I can tell you almost everybody that's in those classes are all adults. There's not a lot of teenagers in our program. Hopefully by September what we will do is split those two into just teenagers and just adults. We definitely won't have you dancing with kids as some other schools do. And we really want to push those and really be a place kind of like, you know, if you really want to dance, you go to San Francisco. There's some really hard-hitting teachers there, some amazing choreographers. We feel our staff is really strong. They all train in the city as well. They have dance degrees, strong dance backgrounds and performance backgrounds. So we feel we really have a chance to start a really strong adult dance program on the peninsula, which is not really offered, at least in my opinion, anywhere on the Mid-Peninsula. Currently, we have adult hip-hop on Monday nights. We have adult modern contemporary on Wednesday nights. And we have adult Irish dancing on Sundays. We did have an adult jazz class that we stopped 2 weeks ago. That was Tuesday nights, mostly due to low enrollment. We did have a lot of drop-ins from week to week, but we wanted to see more regular enrollment before we kept that class going. So if you were interested in taking an adult jazz class, feel free to email us. It's no longer on the schedule, but if you request it and we have enough requests of people that want to try it and come back, we would love to have you there and bring that class back. Like I said, we really want to have a strong adult dance program. We also have an adult dance company, and let me record that on the next recording here. Our adult dance company is called NorCal Dance Project. It's all adults. They meet Sundays and Wednesday evenings for rehearsals. So if you have a strong dance background as an adult and you're interested in trying out and auditioning, you're more than welcome to contact us about that. They do have a Works in Progress show coming up in July, and they plan to do a full performance on stage sometime next year, hopefully. And that will be an ongoing thing. We really want that to thrive and grow. The other thing that's coming up is Bay Area Dance Week. If you're not familiar with that, Bay Area Dance Week offers free classes at a lot of studios in the area. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. So we will have free classes on Monday night, hip-hop for adults. Tuesday night jazz, just for that one night on the 28th, will be open, and the Irish class will be free on the 26th. You can visit our website for those details. I think this mostly depends on what you consider as serious. Across the board, most people might say 5 years old. I think we would agree with 5 years old being a great age to start taking it more seriously. But you could start later in life and still take it seriously and grow your dance skills and abilities, and I think that's still okay. But as a kid, as a younger student, age 5 is a good place to start. But if you're age 7 or 9 and you haven't started yet, by no means that you have missed anything. You can still start in the beginning class and learn, and through discipline and training, you can work your way up and be just as good as somebody that started at 5. But yeah, I think 5 years old would be a good starting age. For the Small Fry Dance Club classes, we try to stick with the preschool licensing recommendations for the state of California. We do this because we already teach inside of many preschools in the area, so we have to stick by those numbers. So we kind of apply those to the studio, and in some cases we tweak it a little bit just so it works for us. But in general, you'll see the toddler classes, so the crawl about and the music and movement classes will have 8 to 10 at most, 8 kids at most. 2 to 4 years old will go 10 to 12 kids at most. 3 to 5 years old, 12 kids at most. If we have 2 teachers like we do on some weekend classes, we would up the ratio up to 16 kids, but with 2 teachers, the ratio actually drops to 1 to 8, 1 teacher per 8 students. So the most you'll see in a class is about 16. With PCPA, I'll answer that in the next voice message here. Our Principal Creative and Performing Arts program, as the kids get older, we will max those classes out at about 12 to 14. And then adult classes, depending on the class, will go 16 to 20 at most. So the ratios will go up as they get older. But you'll never see more than 14 kids in a class for a kid's class. At least with a single teacher. If there's 2 teachers, we would go up maybe to 16. Starting with Small Fry Dance Club, all kids ages 5 and under in Small Fry, there is no there's no dress code, I should say. A lot of the kids do wear dance attire, meaning leotards, tights. A lot of the girls do wear tutus. A lot of the boys do wear dance pants if they're interested, but we do not require it for those classes. With Small Fry, the only time we require you to purchase anything would be if you plan to be in a performance. At that point, it would be required that you purchase the shoes that we were going to be working on. So if we're doing tap number, you would need to buy tap shoes. If we're doing ballet, you would need to get ballet slippers, etc. And obviously the costumes. There are costumes for each performance, so you would need to get the costumes. That would happen twice a year. For Principal Creative and Performing Arts, each style does have its own dress code, and we this first year we've been a little bit lax on enforcement, but we are planning to enforce that fully once we roll around again in September for the next school year. So ballet would have a strict dress code, hip-hop would have a dress code, jazz would have a dress code. If you want to see those dress codes, they are on the principalarts.com website. Just click on classes at the top there, and it's the first one of the first drop-downs there. We'll give you the dress codes for each class. We do expose the 2-year-olds to some structure in class, but we also give them time to move around and dance freely. You'll see most classes, the teachers will move in and out of both. So they'll do a structured activity, they'll do some free dance, they'll do a different structured activity, they'll do more free movement. All of it is structured around the curriculum for the month, so it won't be like they're just running around and playing. There will actually be some thought process behind even the free dancing. We feel both are important. A 2-year-old is not going to focus for an entire 45-minute class, which is why we do that and structure the classes that way. Structure for a 2-year-old dancer comes by staying engaged for most of the lesson, imitating the teacher, being able to dance in one spot for a few minutes, following what the group is doing, executing the motor skills, and gaining spatial awareness. Those are really the things we're looking for out of a 2-year-old. We believe age 5 is a good place to start for private lessons. That does not mean that you cannot start sooner. There are cases where you can. Sometimes younger students do private lessons, but it's usually used to teach them in a different way, perhaps. Maybe if they have some developmental delays or learning delays and they want some one-on-one attention, that would be appropriate for a kid under 5. But 5 years old is a good place to start if you want to do some private lessons and really work on technique. You can select your own teacher. If you want. All of our teachers have different backgrounds and different styles that they do, so you might want to, if you wanted to do a private in ballet, you would pick probably Courtney or Stephanie. If you wanted a private in hip-hop, you would go with Angeline or Jana or Amy. So yeah, that would happen. And it's just a matter of teacher availability, studio availability, space and time is how we would decide if the private lesson was available. This question comes up a lot, and we really, really believe that dance is for everyone, not just for girls. We do have boys in the program. They've kind of scattered throughout most of the program, throughout the preschool classes at the studio, and some kids up in the older levels. We tend to see most boys start to drop off as they get a little bit older, and that just might be, pressure from family, friends, whatever, that, people think boys shouldn't dance, that kind of thing. But our program is really gender neutral. The curriculum is gender neutral, especially for the preschool levels. You're not going to see a lot of, princess, pony imagery. There might be some, but it's really meant for boys and girls. That's what we strive to do. As far as styles for boys, it depends on their interests. On average, boys and parents of boys are often eager to get them into hip-hop or tap or musical theater. We do have a lot of boys in those programs. But ballet is great for boys as well in building strength and flexibility and core strength. So we feel that it's appropriate for all. As far as the difference in ages, you will see, like I said, a lot more boys in the younger levels, especially in the preschool classes. There's a lot of boys. Mostly because at that point it's just motor skill development. You're not really focused on one specific area of training at that point. And then as they get older and they start to pick the styles that they like, then you start to see the boys kind of either drop off or go into different styles. So it just kind of depends on the individual at that point. Absolutely. Our summer camp program is going to run July, and I think the first week of August we have a dance intensive. It is a 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. camp from Monday through Friday. Unfortunately, this first year we will not have aftercare. It is something we have talked about and we may consider adding next year. If anything changes for this year, we would definitely let everybody know on the website. But for now, we do not plan on having aftercare. But definitely something we'll consider for the future. This year, we're going to offer 3 camps. One is a musical theater camp. The second is a music video camp. And the third is a hip-hop b-boy b-girl camp. We also have 2 intensives, one for teenagers and one for kids ages 5 through 12. The intensives are designed really to work on technique and improve your dance skills. And for kids that have maybe taken at least one other dance class somewhere, it doesn't have to be with us in any other style, then we would accept them. They just need to be a little bit more focused. The camps, by definition, will be a little bit more fun, but that does not mean that they will not be learning technique and dance as well. They'll just be a little bit more loose in terms of the general tone and feel of the camps. I should add the 3 camps, the musical theater, the music video camp, and the hip-hop camp are for ages 5 through 10. The camps will go up to 15 students. All of our current staff will be the teachers that will teach during the week. We are bringing in some master class teachers to teach just specific portions of the day, but they will not be leading the entire day. We will also be bringing in Carrie Giorso. She works with us occasionally at our performances. She is an elementary school teacher with the Palo Alto School District, and she's run summer camps for the school district, so she's going to come and run our dance program for the summer. So she'll just kind of be managing it, and she'll be teaching a few classes as well, as she does have a dance background, so she's got the best of both worlds there. As far as the master dance teachers, we're still booking some of them. Some are going to fly in all the way from New York City to teach various things like musical theater and tap. We also have someone coming in to teach hip hop. So they'll be really fun. There'll be some awesome camps, and we can't wait for them to start. The summer camps, you can expect them to dance for about a total of 2.5 to 3 hours per day. Obviously, they won't be dancing the entire 6 hours. That would be too much for kids. In the morning, dance class campers will be exposed to different styles throughout the week, depending on the different camps. And in the afternoon, the campers will build some choreography and learn a number. That way, they will be able to perform for you guys at the end of the week. Performance and learning choreography will be stressed heavily in the afternoon instead of in the morning. Campers will also do some yoga in the morning. We have a yoga studio right next door to us, and they've agreed to help us with that. So they're going to do an hour of yoga each day, which is awesome. That's actually mostly for the intensives, I believe. Alternate activities depend on what camp they attend, but we have a lot of other things planned, like building props and doing crafts and participating in photo shoots, doing some costumes, face painting, and some more fun activities just kind of to get the day going. We'll have a lunch break in between, maybe do some outdoor activities as well, have a glow-in-the-dark dance party, and then at the end of the week, we would do the performance for the parents. If you really had a more specific question as to what's going to happen in a specific camp, say hip-hop or musical theater, we do almost have those schedules complete. We would hand them out to people who sign up, but if you wanted to know, you could call the office and ask for Jana or myself sometime this week. Or next week. I will not be in today. But we can kind of give you an overview, more detailed overview of the schedule for each camp. I believe you're referring to the summer camps. Yes, they do. The final day, we will do a performance, maybe stay a little bit later at the end of the day. They'll perform around 3 o'clock on that Friday for you guys, so you get a chance to see what they learned during the week. If you mean in terms of just the program in general, the Small Fry Dance Club program, they'll perform twice a year, once in June and once in December on stage at the Cubberley Theater in Palo Alto. And the Principal Arts program, it depends on the class that you're in. If you're in a regular class, you'll do the June recital every year. And if you're on our performance teams, those students, they're required to take a few more classes, but they will dance 3 times in the spring, one of those being a competition. That's a good question, and I believe the answer to that is yes. I have 2 children of my own, one of which is very shy, and he is in our dance program, and he also does t-ball. And every time he does something new, the very first time he tries it, he's very shy, doesn't want to open up. He did the same thing in dance class as he did when I took him to t-ball. Even when he wanted to play t-ball, when we got there, he closed up. He didn't want to participate the first day. He just wanted to watch. But kids, you know, if they come 2 or 3 times, they kind of start to get the hang of it. They open up a little bit, maybe try different teachers and see if there's a teacher that they particularly like at that point. But absolutely, I think dancing is a great way to get them to open up. And practicing at home absolutely helps. You know, if they really like it and they get to class and they love dancing and they love the teacher, I would encourage it at home. That way it kind of reinforces what they're learning in class and kind of brings them out of their shell, so to speak. At the moment, I do not. I wasn't aware that was an option, but like I said, a free trial is always available to anyone that wants to try a free class. So that's a good place to start. But it's something that maybe I can look into in the future. Absolutely. Well, first I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It looks like we had a big amount of people in the room, which is awesome. I just wanted to add, you know, if you ever wanted to just come and check out the space and not try a class, but maybe just to get comfortable with the studio and meet some of the teachers, you're more than welcome to stop by. The studio is open pretty much 7 days a week. Also, you can see us in May. The 3rd weekend in May will be at San Carlos Hometown Days. We'll have a few groups performing on stage, I believe Saturday afternoon, and I will be there in our marketing booth all weekend, so you can come by and say hello. And if you need anything, feel free to email us. We have a friendly staff ready to help you guys. And really just thanks for coming out and asking all your questions. They were really good questions.